Hello and welcome back, it's Shrike here with another D&D video, and today we're going to look through all the monsters from the new D&D book, Icewind Dale, Rime of the Frostmaiden. If you've seen some of my previous videos, you probably realised that I'm sat in a different place and it all looks a bit different behind me. That's because last night I did a live stream where I went through the book Icewind Dale, Rime of the Frostmaiden, or at least some aspects of the book, and I announced who the winner of my 500 subscriber giveaway was. So this video is a cut up of that stream. It's going to be my first reaction through all of the monsters from the new book, and there was a lot of them, some really awesome, some extremely scary, and some very cute. So stick around to see all of them. And on the stream I also went through the magic items and the new spells and stuff like that, which will be cut up and out in a future video as well. I really enjoyed streaming. That's the first time I've done it, and I'm definitely going to be doing more in the future. So go down to the description down below and make sure to follow me over on Twitch if you want to come and interact, have a chat. So if you're interested to see what type of monsters there are, stick around, watch the video and see my reaction to them as well. So let's have a look through what monsters there are. And I'm hoping there's going to be some really good art here as well. So we went through Arcane Brotherhood. Okay, that's interesting. So okay, so that's the group, and then here are the people that are in the group. So that's some pretty cool art as well. That would be really good art for a player character actually as well. Or you can use it for this. So this is a challenge rating 7. Spellcaster. I'm seeing if there's anything. So what is that? Is that a new spell? Let's have a look at this. I think it is a new... Oh no. I've just never seen it before. One that I must have completely not seen. Apparently it is from the player's handbook, but yeah, I've never seen that one before. Fair enough. She's got Staff of Frost on her as well, which is pretty nice. And a Banishing Rebuke. Charisma saving throw will be escaping the prison. Cool. Okay, that's pretty nice. Little spellcast there. And then there's... oh, it's this guy who's got a little undead companion there. Simulacrum. Interesting. So Simulacrum is a clone, I guess is the easiest way to explain it. Which is also a spellcaster. Only challenge rating 1 though, so a little spellcaster. And has some cantrips here and magic missiles, as well as a few little abilities here as well. So it looks like these are going to be a lot of spellcasters by the look of it. So there's another one of the Arcane Brotherhood. I'm just going to skip through these because they're all fairly similar. This one has a vampiric touch as well. She looks pretty badass and has a little kobold entourage there. Very nice. Okay, so this is Oriel's area. Do I want to show that? I'm worried that there's going to be players in the chat who will see her hit points or see some stuff that might end up being metagamey. So I think I'm going to leave Oriel's bit and we'll go straight to a brain in a jar, apparently. If there's anyone in the chat who really wants to look at Oriel's stat block though, let me know. We'll see. If people are interested in that, we'll go back to that, but I really don't want to spoil it for players who are going to be playing through this little campaign. So a brain in the jar is challenge rating 3, apparently. So what can a brain in the jar do? I'm assuming, yeah, the speed. Wait, they've got fly speed, apparently. Okay, they've got hover speed. Fair enough. That's a bit different. Okay, so they've got a lot of the sort of stuff you would expect from a brain, I guess. Detect faults, charm person, hold persons. They do have chilled touch though, which is interesting, and they've got mind blast, which is a mind flare thing. Interesting to work out how... okay, so there's an Eldritch ritual you can go into. Preserve your brain in fluid. Interesting. Let's move on from that one. And there's a Shardalin. I think that's how you say that. Berserker. Okay, so demonic magics. I'm going to assume there's a Shardalin dragon down below as well, so I'm guessing there's something to do with the story. Shardalin. This looks like a pretty basic monster. It's challenge rating 4, and it just has a multi-attack of either a flail or a javelin, but it looks like they poison people, so it looks pretty basic. But challenge rating 4, that's nice. I would have thought something like that would be a bit lower just because there's nothing too fancy here, but that's fine. Holy moly, look at that. Shardalin dragon. That's just an armoured dragon. What the hell? Oh, okay, so it's a construct. Okay, so it's a construct dragon. That's interesting. A lot of people have been asking for a new dragon, so here you go. You've got a construct dragon. So let's see what a Shardalin dragon can do. So I'm interested in what type of breath they've got. So they've got radiant breath. Okay, so that's new. I don't believe a dragon has had radiant damage based breath attack in the past. Challenge rating 11, so less than usual adult dragons. Has a lot of what you would expect from constructs and dragons. It doesn't have legendary actions either, like a normal dragon would. So it looks like it's a lesser dragon, or less than an adult dragon. Anyway, Maleficent Presence. Okay, so this is basically Frightful Presence, but instead of being frightened, you get charmed, which is interesting. That art though, look at that. I still can't get over that. I know I've got at least one of my players in the chat who's probably looking at this, either excited to fight it or not, or scared to fight it. Okay, so this Chewinga was what was on the front cover of the book, the thing that I didn't know what it was, and it only has 5 hit points, little guy. It's only challenge rating 0. Has a magical gift that it can grant. The target gains a supernatural charm of the DM's choice. Okay, this is really interesting because usually with these stat blocks it's very straightforward and clear what the monster does. But this one is actually giving the DM a bit of freedom for them to choose. So I'm going to assume in the actual book, in the story itself, there's going to be a bit more information on these Chewinga guys or girls and how to use them, which is pretty interesting. And there's a bit more details down here as well. Oh, okay, so there's some charms down here as well. There's quite a lot of them actually. So there's some charms that you can give down there. Which, are they the same as the magical gifts? Yeah, it looks like they might be the magical gifts, so you can go down here and choose one from here if you don't want to make it up yourself or look elsewhere. And then there's a few more bits of art here as well. Really interesting one, that one actually. That's different. There's not many new challenge rating 0 monsters, so that's pretty cool that they have put one in here. Okay, a cold lightwalker. Oh, that's a good bit of art there as well. Imagine being in a snowy place and actually seeing this on top of a mountain. I think, I know the book is supposed to be horror based, so a lot of these are going to be around the horror theme, which is pretty cool because Curse of Strahd is definitely my favourite book so far, so I have high hopes for this one. Once I have actually properly read through this book, I will be doing a video about it over on my YouTube channel, which I probably should link in the chat so you guys can find it. So let me do that quick. So there, I put in the chat my YouTube channel, so I am going to have a proper good read through of this, and then I'll do a proper video over on my YouTube channel. I may also do some more streams like this as well, where I talk through different aspects of it. If people are interested in that, I really want to stream some more, so it seems like a really good idea to do that as well. Let's go. Oh, we didn't actually look at what this guy can do. Okay, so he's got a cold ray and a slam attack. Challenge rating 5, so quite, well, not high, but higher than your basic stuff. Usually with D&D books, they seem to put a lot of lower challenge ratings in there. So the challenge rate is 1/4 to about 3 to 5 in there, and not many high level creatures. So I'm hoping there's going to be some really nice high level creatures. We've already seen the armored dragon thing, which is pretty cool as well. And then a crag cat, which I'm guessing is just a cat. But snowy cat, yeah, it's just got a bite attack, challenge rating 1, claw attack, pounce. So it's very similar to the other big cats in the game. Okay, so I don't know how to say your name, Frodorius says that Chewingas were in the Tomb of Annihilation. That is one of the adventures I haven't actually ran, so I didn't know they were in there. So I'm assuming there's some more information in that book as well. I'll have to go look them up, because yeah, I haven't actually seen them before. I do plan to actually run this adventure, so hopefully I'll find out a bit more information, but thank you for letting me know that. I'll go look them up as well. Okay, so going into the D to I creatures, we've got Duergar, which are in the monster manual, so I'm assuming these are a few variants. So there's a Hammerer, which looks pretty cool, very armoured. So I'm going to go ahead and assume that in this adventure there's going to be some sort of dwarven mine, because there's constructs and there's Duergar. So it's going to be some sort of underdarky dwarven mine where they've made construct-based stuff. I might be completely wrong, but that's the vibe I'm getting from some of these monsters so far. So he's got some basic attacks, but also has this. So attack the hammered can target the Duergar trapped in it. The attacker has disadvantage on the roll, but do it. Oh, okay, so you can actually, so the players can target the Duergar in the armour rather than just the armour, which is interesting. They've also not done that before. Tomb of Annihilation. So I don't know how to say your name. Frodorius has said that he's currently running the Tomb of Annihilation, and that's one of the ones which I've always been really interested in, but just never had players who've wanted to play in a jungle style game, so it's just never happened. But I'm really interested in that. Oh yes, yeah, so he's also just said Duergar's near Mithral Hall, because yeah, Mithral Hall is near this thing as well, so maybe there's something where you go into underdarky type of area and find some Duergars, because there's quite a few different well, there's 2 different kinds actually, well 3, because this is a 3rd one, but it seems to be an actual, yeah, a bit different. So this one looks like a poison based, I don't know, psionics / poison based one. Challenge rating 2, so pretty low. And then this one is a challenge rating 5, so a bit higher. Some spells and abilities based around same sort of stuff. Psionic can go invisible, which is pretty good. Is this a name? Yes. Okay, so this is a named character in the adventure. Once again, pretty good art in here so far. I don't know if you agree with me, but I think Wizards of the Coast in their recent books have really upped the quality of the art compared to some of their earlier books. I assume it's because 5th edition is doing extremely well, so they have more money to pay better artists. Okay, and then there's just a fox, which is cool. So I actually really like it when they include just basic animals, because then druids have more stuff they can turn into. So this is a white Arctic fox. It is tiny. It's a tiny beast, so it's not your normal ones. That music just went really loud for me there. I'm not sure if it's loud for you. I'll just leave it. No one's complained. Let me know if the music is too loud. Yeah, Wicked Gnome just said that they remind him of a Dwarmar. I don't know how to say that either. Dwarmar in the Elder Scrolls series. So I definitely see that. But yeah, this, maybe there's going to be more constructs later on as well, but it definitely has those types of vibes, going into those caves and finding those types of constructs. Okay, and then we've got a Druid of the Frost variety, which once again is pretty nice. So similar to what I just said about having more beasts so that Druids can turn into different beasts than what's in the monster manual. I like having just characters that you can just pick out. So for example, if you have to improv some sort of druidy type creature or type NPC in the future that has a frost edge to them, now you can just pick this up and give them a name, and you've got a stat block for someone that might end up in combat. Volo's Guide to Monster had quite a few of them, which I've used quite a lot, so you don't actually have to sit there and make a character sheet, which I have done in the past, but it's a bit of a pain, and you're always going to forget something. You can't remember everything as a DM. So I like when they just give you a stat block like this. Boom, done. Now you can pick that up and use it elsewhere, and I'm assuming there's going to be Frost Druids somewhere in the campaign. Okay. Bear with me while I just have a drink and catch up on chat. Yeah, Frodorius. The art looks cute sometimes and sometimes terrifying as fuck. That sounds about right, yeah. That is definitely a good explanation. Yeah, so Rime Meredith also says, I love being able to give the Druid players actual stats and not reflavouring other creatures, which is something that I also do. So in the past, if they said I wanted to be a tiny, or they said they wanted to be a fox, you could be like, okay, well, use the panther stats. And then we just flavour it as a fox, whereas it's nice to actually give them a stat block and a picture that represents them. And hopefully now that this is a stat block, people will make tokens of it. I know there's a lot of us playing online games at the moment because we don't have an alternative, so hopefully there'll be some nice Arctic Fox tokens that you can just pick up and put in your virtual tabletop now. Yep, that is a new animal that Druids can turn into, and it looks like a bit later there's a hare as well. So Frost Druid, and this is another one as well. So skeletons in older editions of D&D, there's been lots of variations of skeletons. So there's been like flame skeletons, poison skeletons, etc, etc. But in 5th edition there's just skeletons. So it's quite cool that they're now putting in a frost giant skeleton, changing things up a bit, and it's challenge rating 6 as well. That's pretty beefy just for something that has a great axe attack and a freezing stare, because it doesn't really have much, but it doesn't even have that many hit points really for a challenge 6 thing. Oh, that's why it's challenge 6. So its great axe attack has a +9 to hit and does an average of 25 slashing damage. That'd be what oh yeah, and then this, oh yeah, okay, looking at these numbers then, so this does 10d6 cold damage on the Constitution saving throw. Okay, that's why it's challenge 6 then, because it does a hell of a lot of damage, but it's probably easier to kill than others, and it has the damage vulnerability of bludgeoning that all the skeletons do as well. Yeah, well, I'm over laughing at the 10d6 cold damage. So, no vampire, apparently. Interesting. And there's quite a bit of flavour text here, and there's a little bit here as well, so I'm assuming a null vampire is going to be quite prevalent. Look at all this text for a null vampire. Okay, I'm not going to go through all of this for you because that would be very boring, but it is challenge rating 8, so it's a pretty big boy. It has some weaknesses, enraged by celestials, which is really interesting. So if it hears a celestial spoken, words of a celestial spoken, it goes into a rage by the looks of it. Stake for the heart, fight for cack. That's really cool. And once again, look, just like Frodorius said earlier, some of the art is really cute. This one, not so much. Not something you'd want to try to give a cuddle. For sure. Oh yeah, so I did read this actually, because I saw someone talking about this on Twitter. So they've they've printed the Goliath stats again. So these are the exact same stats as you get in other books, but they give you the option in this campaign to play a Goliath. So they've just reprinted the stats here for ease of people who actually want to play a Goliath, which is quite cool. And then they've got Goliath Warrior, which is just a Goliath, has its stone endurance and some basic attacks. Has a Goliath Werebear. I was about to say, I hope there's a bit of art for that. Look at that. There's a little fishing pole. That's the little polar bear Goliath, which is pretty cool. Challenge rating 8 as well. He's pretty hefty. Very nice. I like that. That's a nice little bit of art as well. One of my players in the chat probably would quite enjoy playing a Goliath Werebear. But yeah, there's a lot of love. I'm gonna scroll back up for it. A lot of love for this Noel as well. Look at all this text you can play with as a DM, and that bit of art is pretty awesome. There's a hare as well, so another thing that you can give stats to for a druid, although 1 hit point, I don't know if you're gonna do much as a hare, as a druid. It's actually quite funny that they've given the hare a stat block. It literally can't even attack. It's not even got an attack action. It can just it's got 1 hit point and all it can do is run. That's quite sad actually, isn't it, if you think about it. There's some love as well for this Goliath here, which is pretty cool. Ice Troll. Okay, so this is similar to what I said to the skeletons earlier. The Ice Troll trolls are something that they have done some variants of trolls now, but in the older editions there was loads of different variants of trolls. So here's another one for you, an Ice Troll. They did release some more in Volo's guide as well. I think it was Volo's. Pretty sure it was Volo's, it might have been Mordenkainen's, but there's an Ice Troll. So let's have a look at the Ice Troll, and then I will announce who the winner of my giveaway is after this. So let's have a quick little look. So challenge rating 8 again, so pretty nasty. Has a cold aura, so at the start of the troll stand, all non-magical flames are extinguished and people take cold damage, so being near the troll isn't very good. It's got its normal regeneration trait, which you can stop with acid and fire, and it's got some pretty nasty attacks with +7 to hit, each of which doing cold damage. Okay, so let me do the little flipperoo to my face. Are we ready to see who the winners are of the giveaway? So I used a system called Gleam that I've never used before, and there's a button that says pick winners, which I'm going to press off of screen. I'm not going to show you just because I'm not sure if they're going to reveal people's email addresses and like the whole load of information about that person, and I don't want to accidentally give out people's email addresses who signed up to the giveaway. So I'm going to press the button on the screen that you can no longer see. If the emails are there, I'll just read out the names of the people who hopefully aren't too hard to say, because if you watch any of my YouTube channels, you know that I struggle to speak sometimes, especially with names. And then after the stream, I'll get in contact with them and we'll give them this book that we're looking through now, or the dice. So let's do it. I need some dramatic music. I don't want to start looking for music now because, you know, you can get copyrighted and all that. So everyone in chat, give me a drum roll. I hope you are all drum rolling on your desks or with your feet now. Let's press the button. Okay, so the system does show email addresses as well, so I'm not going to be able to put them onto the screen, but I will say, and I'll put them in the chat as well. after I've said them. So the winner of the book, so Icewind Dale, Rime of the Frostmaiden, is, and it is a name I'm going to struggle with, Leon Schulz. I think is how you say it. So Leon Schulz, if you are in the chat, let me know. Just in case you happen to be there, you have won the Icewind Dale Rime of the Frostmaiden book. It does say they're from Germany as well, so a nice European winner there. So Leon Schulz, you have won the book. Let me know in the chat if you're here. If not, I'm going to email you after the stream is over anyway, so don't worry too much. Right, and then who is going to win the dice? Okay, so the winner of the dice is someone from the UK. So someone in the... So I live in England, just in case you haven't worked out from the accent. So the winner is a Matt Wilkinson. So let me know if you're in the chat as well, Matt. So Matt Wilkinson, I'll email you after as well. So well done, Leon and Matt. Let me know if you're in the someone's saying 441 entries. Yeah, quite a lot. So yeah, let me know if you're in the chat, Matt or Leon. If not, I'm going to email you and get in contact afterwards and sort out getting the book or the dice over to you. Thank you everyone who entered. It's been a great journey to get to 500 subscribers, and I will definitely be doing another one when I get to 1,000 subscribers. If I get to 1,000 subscribers, hopefully I'll get there. So do make sure to go over to my YouTube channel and to subscribe. I'll chuck that in the chat as well. I should have been more organised with this really, shouldn't I? And had all these links ready. So yeah, make sure to go over and subscribe to my YouTube channel so that you can take part in the 1,000 subscriber giveaway when I finally get there. And follow me on Twitch. I'm going to be doing more streams, and I'll do another stream like this to announce who the winner is. Everyone's saying congratulations. It doesn't look like either Leon or Matthew are here. Was it Matthew? Forgot the name of the second person already. I've only just said it. Yes, it was Matt. So yeah, I'll let them know later. Do stick around though. We're going to continue going through the Icewind Dale Rime of the Frostmaiden. We're going to go through all of the creatures and all of the magical items at least, and then we'll see how long that takes us to see what else we want to go through the book. I'm going to keep away from spoilers though. Yeah, I knew I was going to get a comment about the bedding behind me. So this is actually just my second bedroom. I don't have a studio or anything like that. So I am just in my second bedroom. I've put some lights on, got a camera, got a microphone. So yeah, it's you know, I'm not a full-time YouTuber like some of the others out there. I am just doing it for a bit of fun while I work full-time. So let me chuck it back to the thing as well. Wicked Gnome saying thanks for giving things away. Not a problem. Thank you for supporting me. I thank everyone for supporting me. It's been really good fun. If any of you as well have ever thought about making a YouTube channel or a Twitch channel, go ahead and do it. It's really fun. And you get to meet a load of really cool people along the way. Okay, so let's go into the K to R now. So Knucklehead Trout. Okay, so that's another thing that druids can turn into, because it is a beast. So Carl, who is in the chat together, Carl is a player in one of my games, and in one of the games he played a druid that only ever turned into water creatures. So there you go, Carl. There is a Knucklehead Trout you can now turn into. Looks, yeah. There you go. We've now got stats for a type of fish. 7 hit points as well. Jesus, that is one big boy. 7 hit point fish. Okay, Cobalt. So this image here was shown before the release of the book, with the 3 kobolds hiding in a coat situation, similar to the goblins stacking on top of each other that I believe was in Tomb of Annihilation. So a lot of people were excited to see who these 3 kobolds were. We've also had some more kobold stats in Volo's Guide to Monsters, so it's interesting that they're putting some more in here as well. So there's the Icewind kobold, which is apparently different to your normal kobold. I might actually load up the norm. Yeah, let's do that. So let's oh, I just closed my screen. Why did I do that? You idiot, Joe. Bear with. I might have to log back in now. Oh, yeah, I'm gonna have to. Let me just put it to my face again while I sort out this mess. I pressed the wrong button and closed it instead of making a new tab. What a Egypt. Oh, now it's asking me to verify my account. It's all going wrong, people. Bear with me. You just look at my fancy flower bedding in the background while I sort this out. Okay, I'm in again. Let me get to the place I was before. And let's actually duplicate correctly this time. Oh no, that's the wrong thing. Okay, so let me change back to the screen again. Okay, so we were on the Icewind kobolds and I wanted to compare it to a normal kobold. Let's see what's actually different between the two, shall we? This is the joys of D&D Beyond. You can just do this. So if I... Oh, wrong button. Okay, so here we go. Hopefully that's done what I wanted it to do for you people. So just catching up with the chat. Yeah, it's one of the music kind of teams. Oh, okay, so there you go. So Frodorius has just updated me that the trout is something that moves the economy in the economy in the region, which is pretty cool that they're thinking about that. It's used to make weapons and armor as well. That's really interesting. That's really cool to look into that as well. Wicked Gnome saying wants an NPC that is just 3 tiny creatures in a coat. That I don't know if any of you watch Critical Role, but that's something similar was in Critical Role, which was pretty fun as well. Right, so let's have a look at the difference between the Icewind Dale kobold and the normal one. So the first thing, the armor class and the hit points are a bit higher. They've got climb speed as well. Their stats are... so they've got more constitution and wisdom than the normal one as well. And they've got some skills here. Their pack tactics is the same. Sunlight sensitivity is the same. And their damage is the same. Except they've got a javelin which does less damage than the sling of the normal kobold. So it looks like they're just a bit more, they've got a bit more to them in terms of armor class and hit points, and they've got climb speed and some skills. They are both the same challenge rating though, and they do a little bit less damage with their ranged stuff, although they can throw their daggers, so sort of, but they've got a sling over here as well. Fair enough. Not too much different there really. And then there's a Cobalt Zombie. I'm a bit... Oh, it's a bit of a shame that there's not art for a Cobalt Zombie. I'm not sure about you, but I'd quite like to see a Cobalt Zombie. Yeah. But it looks like they've just got some undead fortitude and unusual nature. They've only got a javelin, so they've lost their dagger when they become a zombie, apparently. Fair enough. And then another vampire spawn, and this one actually has art. Pretty goddamn scary art as well. Look at that. That's not... Yeah, that's not okay. That's... Okay, so let's see what's different here. So they got the vampire weaknesses as well. And then they've just got by action. And then they've got the regeneration as well. Challenge rating 3. That's the second thing now that is vampire based, so I can go ahead and assume there is some sort of vampire thing going on in Icewind Dale. I know it's supposed to be a horror theme, so it makes sense. There's a zombie and a vampire and stuff. Living spells. That's interesting. That's really interesting. Okay, so errors of wild magic and sights that have ravaged the powerful eldritch forces can give rise to spell effects that become living beings. These so-called living spells haunt the places they were created, subsisting on ambient magical energy. That's really interesting, and the first one here being Big B's hand, so you can imagine a arcane hand which consists in that area, and I'm going to go ahead and assume that these stats are very similar to the Bigsby hand that you get in the spell, which is fair enough. Yes, Frodo, yes, is saying that he really likes the vampire scene, vampire theme with the extreme cold scenario. I agree. It's not something you would usually put together, so it's really cool to see that they've got some stuff in here. It'd be really good to see what actually is happening in the book that includes vampires. And, oh yeah, and that's a good point as well. The cold regions have less sun time, so probably better for vampires to actually be in. Yeah, 40 Days of Night style. So what other... Okay, so Blade of Disaster spell. Is this a new spell, or have I just never seen it before? Oh, it is a new spell. It's a 9th level spell. Maybe we'll have to look at the spells later, because that's a challenge rating 8. Right, let's look at the spell now. So 3 foot long, the blades last for the duration, which is 1 minute. 5 feet on the target, 4d12 force damage. Critical hit if the number on the d20 is 18 or higher. On the critical hit, it deals an extra 8d12, so that's a total of 12d12. It's a pretty lot of damage. And there is a monster version of that, which is pretty cool. A living demiplane. Fair enough. So that's another one that would be really cool to have some sort of art for the living demiplane. So just from reading it, I obviously haven't read all of the rest of it. I'm struggling to envision what that would actually be, what that would look like, how it would muster itself. So it would have been quite nice to have a bit of art there. But, you know, they can't give art for everything or the book would be massive. But yeah, really interesting. Demiplane is a spell in the player's handbook, I believe. So I have seen that one before. Yeah, we'll have a look at the spells then after the items, if there's not too many of them. Okay, so let's see what Magan are. So they're magical human-like creatures created by wizards. So they're constructs. They look like They look like humanoids with green skin. Okay, so they look like ice people, I guess, which is sort of makes sense. Challenge rating 2. This one is. So this is a Demos Magan. Just has some basic action attacks. Nothing too crazy. Oh, that's cool. Look at that. That's cool. So these would be really good to get tokens of for your virtual tabletop as well. I guess you could just use these pictures as tokens. So this is a challenge rating 3. It has a static charge. It does lightning damage. So very lightning-y based. Doesn't have any other spells though. Looks like a spellcaster. I would have expected him to have a few, even if it was just some cantrip spells there. Just something. What is this? Look at this guy. Scary. So that's horror theme and all that. You don't want to see that face coming out of a snowstorm, do you? So this is all psychic based. So the suggestion, and there's some psychic based damage. Only a challenge rating 1 this one, so a little bit less. So they're all pretty low challenge ratings, which is fine. You often see when they group different kinds of monsters together that there's one which is sort of the leader that has a bigger stat block. But these are all just some little guys. Once again, will be interesting to see how they actually come up in the book. Someone said Voldemort as a race. I'm sure there's someone that has statted that up out there. Playing Voldemort. He's basically a lich, isn't he? He's got the what they called the. I'm not a huge Harry Potter fan, so that's why I forgot what it's called. The thing that he hides places so he can't actually die. You know what I mean. Okay, so there's a different mimic here. There's a spitting mimic. Once again, would have been nice to have some art on this one, just to show what the difference between a normal mimic is. So it has a spit acid attack, which is different to the normal mimic. I'm assuming that's the biggest change, and then the rest of it's probably going to be pretty similar. Okay, so mind flares. There's some more mind flares. Oh wow, look at that. That's a gnome mind flare. That's you know, I have thought in the past, like, you always imagine mind flares as tall, slender beings, but if a dwarf or a gnome became a mind flare, does it just get stretched and be slender as well, or does it stay the same size? And now we have the answer. That is a little gnome ceremorph, they're calling it. And it has a laser pistol. What? Okay, so they have officially introduced laser pistols into the game. I think there is a version of it in the DMG, in the Dungeon Master's Guide, which is like, if you want to include this, then here's some options for you. But now they actually have it in a game. So, you know, laser pistols are a thing. Obviously, there's a lot of people out there which aren't happy or aren't comfortable putting firearms in their game, so you can just quite easily just take that out. You could just have him not have a laser pistol. Pretty simple. Although I did see Chris Perkins say on Twitter that there is a spaceship in this campaign somewhere, so you know. Photo is saying WTF, yeah. Apoc DC saying, did I win? So the winners were called out earlier, and it was a Leon Schulz and a Matt Wilkinson were the two winners. So if you are Leon Schulz or Matt Wilkinson, then yes, you did win. But if not, then I'm afraid not. But make sure to subscribe to my channel, because I will be doing another giveaway at 1,000 subscribers as well. And Valaxian saying hello. Hello. Thank you for coming. At the moment, we're just looking through all of the creatures in the new book, and then we're going to go and look at the items and the spells as well. We've already announced the winner of the giveaway. And then, oh wow. So we went from a gnome xeromorph, which looks like that, to a gnome squidling. Gnome squidling. Look at that. Apoc's going to give the gnome ceremorph a laser shotgun instead. Sorry, they are not your name. Better luck next time. I will be doing more giveaways. Look at this guy. Is he walking on the tentacles? Right, so it's a challenge rating 1/2. And there's a mind tickle. Oh wow. Okay, so I assume in the campaign somewhere there's going to be a situation where maybe like a gnome colony or some sort of gnome civilization are having problems with a mind flare, shall we say. And now there's some gnome ceremorphs and gnome squidlings about. Interesting. Who would kill that thing? Yeah, I reckon the Goliath werebear we looked at earlier probably would. Oh, here we go. Another thing for your druids to turn into. A mountain goat. I don't think, correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't think there's a goat stat block as of yet in Dungeons & Dragons. So, there you go. I think there's a giant... Is there a giant goat? Or maybe not. It might be... I'm mixing up with something like a giant elk. I know there's a giant beast that has a ram attack. So yeah, you got a mountain goat now, and they're actually... not too bad for a 1/8 challenge. They've got some nice hit points. They've got a ram attack and charge. There you go. Wicked gnome, yeah. That's definitely, that is the chaotic party's dream pet there, isn't it? Just some little gnome squidling flying around, just lets them loose in areas they need distractions. I can already see it happening. or a XP hungry player. I'm actually this is something I'm thinking about doing a video on. I haven't done it yet, but the big debate about using XP versus milestones. I am definitely a milestone kind of DM. I find it much easier than using XP, but I really want to know like the reasons people would use XP. I think as a DM, I'm much more story driven. I care a lot more about the story. My players always, well, not always, a lot of my players enjoy the roleplay elements and the story and uncovering lore and bits like that more than combat, which I think is why it draws me to milestone more than XP. But I understand there are games out there which combat is the main reason they play D&D and they love the whole XP side of it. So let me know what you use. Do you use milestone or XP in your games? What's the Apoc saying? What's the bet that the goat will kill more parties than the mini gripplies? Definitely, goats are serious business, especially mountain goats. They just ram you off the side of a mountain. Okay, so it looks like there's quite a lot of these Reged Tribes folk. So I'm assuming they're quite a integral part of the campaign. A nice little bit of art here. Once again, this is the type of art that you can cut up and actually have a player character use these bits of art as well, which is always nice. So it looks like there's tribe of the bear, tribe of the elk, tribe of the tiger. I don't think you can see them all because my webcam's dodging them, but along this side there seems to be 4 different tribes. And then each of them has a stat block of the leader of the tribe, I think. Yeah, so it looks like there's a Bear King with stat block here, which is Elk King, Queen. Is this the tile? What's this one? Yeah, Tiger, Queen. Oh, that's some pretty awesome art as well. Look at that. Very nice. Okay. So this, I'm not sure if they all had that actually, and I just missed it. No. So she has Oriel's Blessing, Oriel being I think the main protagonist of the story. So these may be bad people. And then there's the Wolf King or Queen. I'm not sure, I didn't read it. Oh, okay, so the Wolf Tribe have been without a king or queen for years. Interesting. Then there's a reindeer. Oh, okay, so that's a bit of a cop-out. But I guess it makes sense, because reindeers are very similar to elk. So there's a reindeer, bit of information, and it just says use the elk stat block, so might as well. I think I heard someone say that this particular adventure will use milestone. Okay. Elk was Wolfgar's tribe, wasn't it? I don't know, to be honest. I'm sure there's good there. Well, I say I'm sure. Hopefully, there's someone in chat that knows that was the Elk Wolfgar's tribe. Okay, so you got a seal here as well for your druids. Only challenge rating 0. Poor guy, doesn't do much. Snow golem, look at that. That is not what I would have envisioned a snow golem looking like, but sure. Looks more like a shark to me up the top there. Looks like some weird shark troll hybrid thing. But it is a snow golem, only challenge rating 3. Can lob a snowball and has a slam attack and does melt as well. Poor guy. Vulnerability to fire, makes sense. Here's the snowy owlbear. So the snowy owlbear just uses the owlbear statistics. Okay, so nothing too exciting there. Okay, so this is a sperm whale. Look at the hopeless adventures and their little rowboat coming up against a sperm whale with some Northern Light style things. So this is a gargantuan beast. So without dinosaurs, I think the biggest challenge rating beast is a giant ape, I want to say. And I think that's challenge rating 8 as well. It might be challenge rating 6. So this is another option for a druid to turn into something that has a higher challenge rating. Obviously only in the water. Sperm Whale is probably not too great on land. But it looks like they've got some, yeah, they got the swallow feature that a lot of the creatures have, do a fair amount of damage as well, and have a hell of a lot of hit points. So there you go, your druids can be a tank in the water as well. Pretty nice. Okay, so tomb tapper. What is a tomb tapper? Oh wow, look, that's, yeah, that's a horror thing right there. What the hell is that? It's a huge construct, that's what it is. Challenge rating 10, has 200 odd hit points, uses that big old sledgehammer to do a lot of damage. It senses magic. Interesting, within 30 feet. Tomb Trapper can burrow through solid rock. Okay. Petrified death, so if it's reduced to 0 hit points, it turns into a statue. Cool. That's, yep, that's nightmare fuel right there. Verb. So they're giants. So there's a Verb Longstrider, which has some Druid-y style or Ranger-y style spells. And a Marauder. A bit of art here. So yeah, they're just a different type of giant apparently. Cool. Ah, and a walrus, another beast. Only a quarter, but there's also a giant walrus. Challenge rating 4. So there you go. Oh, and Yeti. So there's Yeti and okay, so there's a baby Yeti, a Yeti tyke. Challenge rating an 8. Surely none of your parties would kill that. Surely not. Maybe they would. There you go. So we have got to the end of the creatures. So that is literally all of the creatures we managed to get through there. So there, I think it was summed up pretty well earlier. There are some horrible, scary ones there. And then there's a few cute ones intertwined. So there you have it. There was the cut up part of me going through the monsters, as well as the announcement of who the winners are. Another huge congratulations to Leon and Matt for winning the giveaway. I've contacted them both through their emails, so hopefully they get back to me and I can ship out their goods. As I said right at the beginning of this video, I will be cutting up the rest of my stream where I looked through the spells and magic items as well, so make sure to subscribe so you see them. But until next time, happy gaming.